God, Shalom Akim. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. The bonus to the elder apostle, crieth Millstone, who teach him real well. And Shalom to the sincere Akim, furnish truth and sincerity. Shalom. This lesson I want to start off with Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20, which reads, Wisdom cried without. She uttered her voice in the streets. She cried in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttered her words, saying. So, if we go back to Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20, it says, Wisdom cried without. She uttered her voice in the streets. And what wisdom is that talking about? It's talking about the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, of the Bible, which also includes, the knowledge wisdom, knowledge, and understanding concerning the affairs and the current state of this world. Why are we in the current predicament that we're in right now? So it says, Wisdom cried without. She uttered her voice in the streets. She cried in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttered her words, saying. So it says that wisdom is on the streets, so the wisdom is in the chief place of concourse, which means that those are the busy spots in the cities, where people do their daily activities, buying groceries, doing their daily things. So that's actually what we are doing, at GMS. We are standing outside and we are proclaiming the words of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Because the Most High said in the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 20, and though the Lord Yahawah give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. If we will be in a church or in a building, your eyes would not be able to see your teachers. Your eyes would not be able to see the prophets of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, which are speaking unto the nation of Israel. Because the Most High said that we had to speak the words unto His people, which we can read in 2 Esdras, chapter 15, verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in their mouth, said the Lord Yahawah. And prophecy, the word prophecy means to basically say before something happens. And that's basically what the Bible is. It's a book of prophecies, things that yet need to happen. It also contains prophecies that already happened, and it contains history, law, statutes, commandments, but it also contains prophecies, things that still need to happen. And the people of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, are the Israelites, which we can find in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 1. At the same time, said the Lord Yahawah, will it be the power of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. And the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but also those scattered among the heathen nations who might look like the heathen nations, but this lineage does go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob according to their father's seed. We are trying to bid those people to the marriage. That's why Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi said in the scriptures in the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 9. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. This is what Yahawashi said unto us. He said, Matthew chapter 22, verse 9, go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. So we were commanded by Yahawashi to go into the highways, which is the streets. So this is back in Proverbs chapter 1, verse 22. How long, you simple ones, for ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Because basically we were made to be a laughing stock. You know. Mm, bear with me. We made a spectacle. There was a This is First Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9. For I think that the Most High set forth us the apostles last, who were appointed to death. But we were made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men. If you look up the word spectacle, it says something that can be seen or viewed, especially something of a remarkable or impressive nature. A public performance or display, especially one on a large or lavish scale. Um, so basically, it says spectacle, something that can be seen or viewed. The people can see us, and they're basically scorning at us as well. You know, so spectacle, a thing or person seen, especially an unusual or ridiculous one, a strange or interesting object or phenomenon. Because if they see us standing on the corners, or seeing us standing somewhere in our garments, and they regard it as strange, or unusual or ridiculous. You know, that's what they have in their minds. And as it says in Proverbs chapter 1, verse 22, how long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? The simplicity of this world. This world brings forth nothing but death. It's simple, it's vain, it's worth nothing. Because when you get to the knowledge of scriptures, when you come to the realization that everything that is of this world is vain, and only lasts for a certain moment, because the Most High is going to bring destruction. So, the things of this world are just simplicity, and vain. But also says, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. If you look up the word scorn, look at the scorn name. Contempt or disdain felt toward a person or object considered despicable or unworthy. The expression of such an attitude in behavior or speech, derision. The state of being despised or dishonored. The people, they despise us, but in actuality they have no clue, or Yahawashi, of course, who they are basically talking to and scoffing, because Yahawashi, we are the men of the Lord, but they like to scoff and scorn. But that was also spoken about, that would happen in the last days. This is the book of Second Peter, chapter 3, verse 3. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts. And if we look up the word scoffer, it says to show or express derision or scorn, though in a derisive manner. Scoffer, someone who jeers or mocks or treats something with contempt or calls it in derision. You know, the people are mocking us, laughing about us when they see us standing in the streets with our garments, which to them looks funny. But the garments that we wear are basically, the ancient apparel that we used to wear back in the days. you know, that's what those people are basically doing, man. They delight in doing that, you know. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20, turn ye at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you, I will make known my words unto you. If you do come back to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, because there are people that might hear these words and be like, hey, what they're saying is actually, it makes sense, it's the truth, then well, let's go back to Isaiah chapter 30. There it says let's just read it all over again. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 20. And though the Lord Yahawah give you the bread of adversity and the waters of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left. So if you do receive, that revelation, like, hey, this is the truth, I need to do this, then the Most High will pour out His Spirit unto you and will make known the words unto you concerning the Scriptures. But there are also people that, like the Scripture said in verse 22, will scoff, will scorn, will mock us, will basically set at naught all reproof, Yahawah, Yahawashi, then the following things will happen unto those people. Because it says in Proverbs chapter 1, verse 24, because I've called and ye refused. How does the Most High speak? How He speaks through His servants, the prophets, which we can find in Hebrews, the first chapter. Because it says in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1, the Most High, what sundry times in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets. So the Most High speaks through His servants, the prophets. So the Most High is using us, Yahawah, will be part of that number, to call out unto the people, to bid them to the marriage, and to basically, have those people need to turn back to Yahawah, Yahawashi, and make them return. But it says, because I've, Proverbs chapter 1, verse 24, because I have called and ye refused, I've stretched out my hand and no man regarded. There will be people that won't regard the words of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi that we are doing on the streets. A lot of people that walk by and say, hey, shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom, or that they say, yeah, you're doing a great job, and things like that. But a lot of people, that are also not regarding the words of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, laughing, mocking, turning their head. They don't want to hear these words. Verse 25, but ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. They don't want to hear the words of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and come back to Him. They love the simplicity too much of this world. They enjoy the affairs of this world too much. Verse 26, I also will laugh at your calamity, I will mock when your affair cometh. Because the time is coming. The time is coming that these prophecies are unfolding. And by these prophecies unfolding, it means that death and destruction is on its way. And the book of Psalms tells us in the 91st chapter, says, He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord Yahawah, He is my refuge and my fortress, my power. In Him will I trust. In the secret place of Bahasham, Yahawashi are the scriptures. You know, so those people that remain and occupy themselves in the scriptures, they shall remain under the protection of Bahasham, Yahawashi. But those people that did not regard the words of Bahasham, Yahawashi and were not occupied in the scriptures, they shall not receive, the protection from Bahasham, Yahawashi in time to come. You shall not be redeemed from the famine. You shall not be redeemed from the sword. You shall not be saved during the time of pestilence. The only thing that you can expect is fear, death, and destruction to come your way. So it says in verse 26, back in Proverbs chapter 1, verse 26, I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. Because you didn't listen to the words that the prophet spake. You didn't listen to the words of Bahasham, Yahawashi, spoken by the prophets. The Most High is gonna laugh when these calamities will come upon you. Because you had the time to come back and repent, which means to convert, basically, to come back to Bahasham, Yahawashi. Verse 27, when your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. When all these things come upon you, verse 28, then shall they call upon me. So when the famine hits, when things go bad, then you want to call upon on the name of Bahasham, Yahawashi. That's when you want to call upon him. But what does it say in the book of Ecclesiastes? Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. So you need to look for Bahasham, Yahawashi before the evil days approach, before those evil days are at the door. That's what you need to do. Nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So those people have a chance right now to come back to Bahasham, Yahawashi. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 28, when your fear cometh as a desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Because the time is coming that all the prophecies must be fulfilled in the scriptures, which also goes into the famine of the word, which means that the Most High is going to take away his prophets from the streets, and there is no more way for you to get any knowledge, wisdom, or understanding concerning the things that are written in the scriptures, which cover the events that will happen upon this earth. There is no way for you to get those information no more, because it says in the book of Amos, chapter 8, verse 11, behold, the days come, said the Lord Yahawah, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahawah. So, what is the Most High going to do? He's going to take away his prophets from the streets. He's going to make sure that the videos that are on the YouTube and that are on the internet should not be able to be watched no more. We can see that, YouTube is taking down our videos. We can also see that by the measures that the countries are taking with the with this pandemic, that we have to separate our camps. There were weeks in which we had to separate our camps with 2 teachers, that could teach. And then we would have to basically place ourselves, on multiple spots with enough distance between each other, so we could teach. Because there were measures taken, like, hey, there are only 2 people allowed to be next to each other, when people do activity. Right now we're able to teach as a group again because of the rules in Holland. Let's say if you are basically proclaiming a religion, or proclaiming a something concerning a higher power, which means a God, which in this case we are proclaiming the words of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, the true and living power, that we are able to stand in a group again. But the time shall come that the Most High is going to take away his words, which means he's going to take away his prophets from the streets. This is Amos chapter 8, verse 12. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the words of the Lord Yahawah, and shall not find it. In that day shall the fair virgin and the young man faint for thirst. They shall be thirsty for the words of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. They shall be thirsty for that, because then they see and they realize, like, hey, those people that we had, that we were scoffing about, we were scorning and mocking, they were actually right. We accounted their lives as madness. We account their lives as madness. Every Saturday, standing on the streets, proclaiming the words of the scriptures, But then they shall realize, like, hey, those were the men of the Lord. And they had the truth with them, But once we are taken away, then it's too late. Because it always says in Amos chapter 8, verse, that's like Amos chapter 5, verse 13. Therefore the prudent shall keep silence in that time, for it is an evil time. The service of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, when we are taken away from the streets, they won't be proclaiming these words no more. Or they must be in a very good mood, and they are willing to proclaim the words of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi unto you. But other than that, you won't have no clue what's going to happen upon the earth. Because it also says in the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 5, verse 1, nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the days shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in great number. This means that a lot of people are going to die a terrible death. Famine, war, pestilences, teeth of wild beasts. The Most High is going to bring all these things upon the earth. Reading on. And the way of truth shall be hidden. What is the way of truth? The words of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi that are contained in the scriptures. And the land shall be barren of faith. Yeah, for those people that didn't want to listen to the words of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, they're going to see the condition of this world, and they're going to be like, there's no hope. But those that occupied themselves in the scriptures, as it says in Sirach, chapter 39, verse 1, that those people who occupy themselves in the scriptures, they will be occupied themselves with the prophecies. So it says in Sirach chapter 39, verse 1, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. Because if you were busy with the scriptures, you would know what will come upon the earth and what's going to be the latter end, which is the kingdom of heaven upon the earth. Of course, we need to go through these straight and vain things, because that's our portion as a nation of Israel. That's our punishment for not listening to the words of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. But eventually, we're going to be victorious. We're going to be on top of all these nations. Starting off with the other apostles of Great Millstone on down. So the point of this lesson that I want to make is the wisdom and knowledge in the scriptures can be found on the streets, because it says in Acts chapter 7, verse 48, it says, howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as said the prophets. So the Most High cannot be found in those churches, those mosques, those temples. The words of the Most High can be found on the streets by his servants the prophets, because he speaks through his servants the prophets, the words of the scriptures, you know. But we're getting closer to the end, which means that the Most High is going to take away his prophets as well. You know, like I said, we already had times in which we only could teach with two brothers at a time. You know, we're seeing the things that Esau is doing. So it's high time to awake out of sleep. You know, this is Romans. Chapter 13, verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. So our people need to be very quickly to awake out of sleep, to get as much knowledge and understanding as they can. And for those people that are watching this video, that live in the Netherlands and Holland, you know, that you're sincere concerning wanting to come back to Bahasham, Yahawashi, I highly recommend you to basically visit us, you know, at the Amsterdam Bijlmer, you know, the Bijlmer station, you know, to you know, to grab that which you can, you know, before it's too late. You know, it's very important to occupy yourself in the scriptures, because that's where the safety lies. You know, then you will be stable. You know, because wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. You will know what's going on upon the earth. You know, there's going to be a stability for you. All these other people, they shall have no faith. The land shall be barren of faith. There's no future for them. But we, those people that occupy themselves in the scriptures, they're going to know, okay, these things need to happen before the kingdom comes. And then we're going to have an eternal glory, eternal rest for the nation of Israel. You know. But for those people that don't want to come back and don't want to listen, you know, you're gonna face a terrible, terrible end. You know, the Most High is going to bring famine, death, destruction, wars upon the earth. You know. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying, and I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. The honors to the elder apostles of great Millstone who teach and rule well, and shalom to the sincere Archimedes for his truth and sincerity.